Trusty Ape. Hashtag Trusty Ape Co. At Trusty Ape Co. Now about sex. Many of us needed an overhauling there, but above all, we tried to be sensible on this question. It's so easy to get way off the track. Here we find human opinions running to extremes, absurd extremes perhaps. One set of voices cry that sex is a lust of our lower nature, a base necessity of procreation. Then we have the voices who cry for sex and more sex, who bewail the institution of marriage, who think that most of the troubles of the race are traceable to sex causes. They think we do not have enough of it, or that it isn't the right kind. They see its significance everywhere. One school would allow man no flavor for his fare, and the other would have us all on a straight pepper diet. We want to stay out of this controversy. We do not want to be the arbiter of anyone's sex conduct. We all have sex problems. We'd hardly be human if we didn't. What can we do about them? We reviewed our own conduct over the years past. Where had we been selfish, dishonest, or inconsiderate? Whom had we hurt? Did we unjustifiably arouse jealousy, suspicion, or bitterness? Where were we at fault? What should we have done instead? We got this all down on paper and looked at it. In this way we tried to shape a sane and sound ideal for our future sex life. We subjected each relation to this test. Was it selfish or not? We asked reason to mold our ideals and help us to live up to them. We remembered always that our sex powers were naturally given and therefore good, neither to be used lightly or selfishly, nor to be despised and loathed. Whatever our ideal turns out to be, we must be willing to grow toward it. We must be willing to make amends where we have done harm, provided that we do not bring about still more harm in so doing. In other words, we treat sex as we would any other problem. In meditation, we ask what we should do about each specific matter. The right answer will come if we want it. So I'll keep this brief. Uh, is it an epilogue? I don't remember the proper usage for that one. Today is an interesting day. So in this program, in these programs, pretty much any program of recovery you're in, as a general rule, they tell you not to date anyone in early recovery, especially not those within your own program. And I violated this rule repeatedly. And when I say a rule, it's more of a suggestion. They tell you ought to avoid it. So today I had to learn again the hard way why that suggestion exists. Um, without getting into too many specifics. Um, last night I was with a person. That person made me a beautiful dinner. I went to rehearse with my band. I came back. We had a lovely evening. Watched some Netflix and chilled. When I woke up this morning, the person lying next to me seemed to be a very different person. Now, to be fair, this person told me repeatedly how they're not ready for a relationship. They've told me at length how sick they are. And I still pushed. That's what I tend to do. I'm kind of a pushy person. Um, this afternoon, I had to file a police report regarding that person. I had to call my treatment facility and ask for a change in treatment plan regarding that person. Uh, Likely, there will have to be some actionable um, response to this situation. They have my book and I have their reading glasses. Um, so we're at an impasse, right? But on the brighter side of that, um, I didn't relapse over it. I'm home now, happy to be about to lay down in my bed. Not happy about the situation. The outcome was certainly avoidable. So that's been my day. I shared about it. I told who I needed to tell what was going on. And there's not much else I can do beyond that. When I think about my life and my experience and try to relate it to others, it's often difficult. They tell us to look for similarities, and I try to do that, but it's not always the easiest thing to do. Oftentimes, there are many dissimilarities. I myself have a pretty solid foundation of framework for what I believe, how I want to live. Um, I find more and more that many people do not, right? Many people arrive at the space I'm in treatment and programs, um, because they have never formulated some solid um, ideas, right, about who they are, what they want. And so I'm looking for those answers. Or some of them have very different ideas from my own. And I have to constantly remind myself that I'm not in these spaces to educate people or try to persuade them into my way of thinking. But that can be difficult, especially when you start to build deep relationships with folks. Now, what's interesting to me is the very different um, outcome in relation to the intention behind a thing. You set out to do a thing, believing that it will cause one outcome, and it causes a very different outcome. Sometimes this is because we behave unskillfully, which is certainly true in my case today. Um, Also, we cannot control how other people receive us or their perceptions of the situation. And often that's the problem, is we want to try to present in a certain way that we believe will be received well by other people. And that's not the case. Um, the tactic can be to become defensive, to become um, more persistent in that endeavor, which often makes the situation worse, which was definitely the case for me today. And if I had listened to that person, if I had let go, relinquished my sense of wanting or needing to be in control in some way, probably would have had a very different outcome. I would have accomplished a hell of a lot more today, although I did set out to do most of what I needed to do today. But I insisted this person needed my help, that I could be of service to this person and help to better their situation. And in that endeavor, I caused both of us more stress. Um, and so that's one of the reasons that we can't do these things, right? As much as we'd like to, our intentions don't often turn out the way that we planned. Can't do for others what they're not willing to do for themselves. Can't force other people to see our perspectives or go about things our way, even if we believe it might make their lives better, easier in some way. The more we try, the worse the results become. So, I'll have 30 days of sobriety tomorrow, for whatever that's worth, and I will continue on about my business as I do. I have many things to focus on um, for myself, for my own life, and that person has many things that they need to do for themselves in their own life. And seems like those two paths are diverging at this point. And acceptance is the answer. Just accept what is, leave it alone, move on. Easier said than done, but necessary to be sure. Have I learned anything from this? Maybe so. Anything useful? Anything new? Is there new information being received? No. Seems like I just need a refresher every 6 to 8 weeks or so. I Howdy, Tug. I don't even know how to pronounce your name anymore. Is that Mas Quinones? Did I get that right? Um, I'll probably sign off at this point because I should rest. But if you didn't know, I caused myself and another human being a lot of unnecessary anxiety today. Um, and the only thing I can do is try to acknowledge my own faults and not do them again. So with that, signing off. Um, Somewhat disgruntled, but not defeated. I remain the trusty ape. My ass. Well, thanks for popping in. Much love. Be well. Stay trusty.